PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of We Have the Power is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and non-profit organizations. It can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Well, hi there, and welcome to another segment of We Have the Power. Tonight, it's actually night for me. You may be watching this at another time, but we're going to be talking about a book that you should go to the library and get immediately. It's Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard, and it is a book that will help you figure out why you're having any mental problems, depressions, psychosomatic ills, any of that, in a way that you don't have to use any drugs and you can solve those problems. We will discuss this right after this important message that you should watch and pay attention to closely. I'll be right back. It has been said that young people are the future of any country or any world. I believe that's true, and if you do, then together we know that we must invest in our young people. One of the best ways we can invest in them is by obtaining the booklets from the drugfreeworld.org Truth About Drugs campaign. The booklets, especially on marijuana, come in English, of course. This is something that is out there and is talked about a lot in the media, but it also comes in Spanish. And then there is a book that is a compilation book. And this one is very important because it covers things like alcohol abuse, ecstasy. We know that cocaine, crystal meth are things that are dangerous. Inhalants can be abused, and also heroin, LSD, and even prescription drugs. So it's very important to get these booklets that give information about what these drugs and what alcohol abuse will do. They don't say don't take them, which oftentimes turns young people off. They tell everyone who reads these booklets what this kind of activity will do. And in that way, we're investing in our young people and investing in the future of our country and this world. Just go to drugfreeworld.org and get these free booklets right away. Okay, so I'm your host, Brian Gardner of We Have the Power. If you like this segment, please like and subscribe to never miss information that can help us maintain our freedoms and liberties. The previous infomercial on the drug book is very important, as I will cover as we go over the basics of Dianetics. Anytime you are drinking alcohol to excess, taking drugs, injured, under heavy stress, I will cover a part of your mind shuts down, and there's a part of the mind that records like a tape recorder, and later can cause you to have psychosomatic ills, fears, and compulsions. And that's what we'll cover today, partly in talking about this book that you can get from the library, or you can purchase it from Amazon, and avail yourself of the truth about the human mind. Now, let's talk about those people that claim that they know how to fix mental problems, psychiatry. I have a big problem with psychiatry because they never have cured anyone. Now you might go, oh my gosh, my uncle's so much better, or my family members so much better now that they are on medication. Well, yeah, they don't act out anymore because they've been drugged to the point where they can't remember what caused them to act out or to be depressed or to have fears and compulsions. You have not, and psychiatrists have not, cured anything. Now, let me give you an example. There's a particular town, let's say, that has a roadway that the road keeps getting messed up. because there's a river that runs under that road. And they just don't have the money to divert the river somehow to go around the road or build a bridge for the water to go under. So every couple of years, the road gets destroyed and they just repave the road, cover it over. They aren't really solving the problem that's causing the road to get all messed up. A lot of times, family members will say, my family member's acting out. Can't you do something? And what they do is they prescribe psychiatric medication or electroshock, and God forbid they used to do lobotomies where they would take an ice pick, put it in here and go back and forth. Well, you've just destroyed the individual, but he no longer acts out. That is not a solution. That's like you coming to your mechanic saying, my car is unmanageable. And the mechanic says, well, let me tear the engine apart and find out what's going on. No, I don't want to spend that money. Just put Gunko in the engine. Sir, if I put Gunko in the engine, crankcase, pour it in, it's going to make your car more manageable. But when we tear the engine apart in 10,000 miles, you won't like what I tell you. I don't care. I just want it more manageable. A lot of family members do that. I understand. It's hard to be around a family member who is acting out. But you're doing them a disservice by letting the psychiatrist pour Gunko in them. Now, there's something even more important to say before I continue. If you or a family member or friend is currently on any psychiatric medication, the number one thing you must never do, let me repeat that. The number one thing you must never, ever, ever attempt is to go cold turkey and just stop taking those drugs immediately. That is pretty much going to guarantee that you will be in very bad shape. You might even try to commit suicide. If you want to get off psychiatric medication, maybe this show will lead you in that direction. Maybe you already want to get off the psychiatric medication you're on, and that's a good thing. You must get with a qualified non-psychiatric nutritionist, and there are people out there who have as their desire to help people get off these medications. And they will help you come off the medication properly. I just want to impress upon you how important what I just said is. Never cold turkey on psychiatric medication. It's bad enough if you try to cold turkey on heroin or some other drugs. But psychiatric medication have side effects when you're taking them, have side effects if you try to dump them without supervision and doing it properly. So don't do that. But get off them as quickly as you can and never put a family member on them. All you're doing is paving the road over the river. You're not solving the problem. You're pouring Gunko in your relative or family member. Psychiatrists do not know how the mind works, and so they cannot fix mental problems. They can make a person so out of it that they don't remember why they were depressed, so they act like they're not acting out anymore. And they aren't acting out anymore, but you haven't solved the problem. And the minute they run out of their medications, boom, here comes this thing back again, which I'll talk about. And if this show needs to go to 2 segments, we'll do that, but I think we can do it in 1 segment. The next thing I want to say is don't believe the thing that I'm saying. And you might find that weird. Well, you're a student of Dianetics, Brian. You've done Dianetics counseling. You have received Dianetics counseling. Don't believe anything I'm saying. Check it out for yourself. That's the only way it's going to be workable and real and useful and used by you. Okay? Go to the library. You can get this book for free. It's the one with the volcano on it. You can't miss it. And when people say, oh, L. Ron Hubbard, oh, Dianetics, you know, and L. Ron Hubbard star in Scientology and it's dangerous and all this yip yap. Why don't you do yourself a favor and check it out for yourself? Do you know if you go on the internet and you happen to drive a Ford, you will have thousands of people going, oh, Fords are no good. Drive a Chevy, drive a Honda, drive a Toyota, you know. Just make up your own mind about things. See if reading this has validity. I think you'll find it does. This is the owner's manual of the human mind. Now, you do need to have a dictionary for a few medical terms in the beginning. Once you get past that, it's smooth sailing. And let me tell you another shocking thing about this book. You can see it there. I don't think it's, let me see if, I don't think it's on this cover, but it's a handbook for Dianetics procedure. You read this book and you understand how it works. There is a step-by-step way of doing Dianetics counseling on a friend, having it done on you. And the two of you together can produce some remarkable results, positive results. And if you get into any trouble or whatever, you can go to a Dianetics center in your town. There's one right here in Las Vegas. You can ask them questions. You don't have, you know, look, come here, come closer. Listen closely. You don't have to change your religion. You don't have to become a Scientologist. You don't have to become a Dianeticist. If you have questions, you go in there, you tell them, Brian Gardner said I could come in here. I have some questions on Dianetics. Me and Sally have been doing Dianetics back and forth, and we're getting some good success, but we have some questions. There are courses you can take that will help you to understand how to do Dianetics counseling. And let me make it also clear, you are not hypnotized during Dianetics counseling. You were wide awake. Your analytical mind is functioning perfectly, and you are getting rid into memory, not getting rid totally. You're moving from points when you were unconscious and in pain or on drugs or drinking too much alcohol. You're moving those memories where they can have an impact on you and cause psychosomatic ills and fears and compulsions. You're moving with Dianetics counseling those memories into your analytical mind where they can be evaluated. And it doesn't mean that because an emergency medical person looked at your legs in a car crash and you're unconscious, this thing called the reactive mind, which reacts to stimuli like a tape recorder. The EMT says, you know, if I had legs like that, I would never walk again. You'd be safer to stay in his house with the way people are drive crazy. Well, everybody's trying to survive from the weed on the freeway, you know, to us. So this EMT has just told this gentleman how to survive. Stay in the house. Don't walk. So he gets healed. He goes to his doctor and says, I don't know, doc, I just can't walk. I get afraid every time I try to walk. Well, there's nothing wrong with your legs. You can walk. No, I'd rather just stay at home. Where do you think that came from? That came into his mind when his analytical abilities were shut off. And this part of the mind, which I'll explain, the reactive mind, a discovery in Dianetics, forced him to not want to walk because that's what it was told is safe. Let me give you another example of how this reactive mind works. It's like a tape recorder. It doesn't evaluate information. Wait till you hear this example. So Johnny is laying there with a high temperature, really sick. Anytime you're injured, drugged, drunk, all of this stuff, your analytical mind, you know, kind of to protect the mind, so to speak, is out of circuit, and the reactive mind is sitting there recording with no analyzing going on. So Johnny's laying in bed, very sick, high temperature, really out of it. And his grandmother comes up and says, "Don't worry, Johnny. As long as I'm here, you'll be okay." Now, you and I listening to that realize that if grandma dies, we're still going to be okay. Not the reactive mind. It has been told how to survive. Grandma must be there always and forever, because the reactive mind does no analyzing. If he was not so out of it, and his grandmother said that, he would go, "Yeah, it'll be kind of upsetting when she passes away, but I'm still going to be okay." She told him, though, while he wasn't analytical, "As long as I'm here, you'll be okay." The reactive mind takes that as a command. It takes that as the key to survival. And guess what? Johnny gets over the flu. 6 months later, grandma dies. So the mom, she works full time. She has to get another nanny for little Johnny. And she has 5 candidates that come to the house. Can you see five candidates? 4 of them are pretty good. The 5th one has a bad record, seems irritable, doesn't come looking very professional, and has a light criminal record. So Johnny's sitting there watching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mom says, "Well, what do you think, Johnny? Who do you like?" Number 5. Johnny, number 5, didn't even, she was dirty. She has a criminal record. She seemed agitated and like she wouldn't do a good job. No, number 5. Wait a minute. Come on. Mom, I got to have number 5. Come on. She's the one I want to go. Because all this emotion. You ready? Are you sitting down for this piece of crap on how vicious the reactive mind is? Why you need to read this book? Guess what? Guess what? Number 5, the criminal, dirty, kind of agitated person looks like and sounds like grandma. Now, unfortunately, the reactive mind has ability to bypass and get you to do what it wants. Okay, without any thinking. It's been told, "Hey, as long as I'm here, you'll be okay." Well, number 5 looks like and sounds like grandma, so I want her. And that is not a product of analytical thought. That is the reactive mind going, "I've been told how to survive." Boom. And, maybe the kid gets beat up by this number 5 or treated badly. If it was reversed and it was a girl and the mom was getting a male babysitter, maybe the girl would be sexually abused. Who knows? This is how vicious the reactive mind is. Not because it's evil, because it records like a tape recorder. If you had a conversation with a reactive mind, say, "Well, grandma told me how to survive better, to have her around forever. So number 5, I thought number 5 was grandma coming back." Because the reactive mind can't analyze it's not grandma, it just looks like grandma. This is the kind of thing you'll read about in this book, how vicious and how unnecessary the reactive mind is, and how it causes problems in families and life and illness and psychosomatic ills, which 70% of what doctors see is psychosomatic ills caused by something in the reactive mind getting triggered by a current situation that has nothing to do with the earlier situation except a similarity. Now, let's use one more example before I read a few passages from this book. John Smith was in some war somewhere. Bombs going off, those horrible sounds. And you would call it PTSD, but I've got something else to tell you. He comes back from the war. He's sitting there with his wife, enjoying a Sunday brunch, and he was up kind of late. He's having a little alcohol, so he's a little bit not fully analytical, and a car backfires. And the wife is finally enjoying some time with him because he's been, still doing things with the military. Finally, they have a Sunday where they can enjoy each other. Car backfires. He goes, honey, we got to get out of here. What? No, right now, we got to leave. I got to go. Okay. If you don't want to come with me, I'm leaving. Now, why is all this incorrect emotion coming out? Because his analytical mind, if it was working, if he wasn't tired and he wasn't drinking a little alcohol, would say, oh, that's a car backfire. That's not dangerous. The reactive mind cannot do that. It hears backfire, bombs, get the hell out of there. Ruins his whole day with his wife. His wife thinks he's nuts, takes him to a psychiatrist. Oh, he's got PTSD, puts him on psych drugs. They never get to the problem down here. They just cover it over. He's on psych medication for his life. Bad side effects. He's not the man that she married anymore. The psych medication is messing him up. And you haven't solved the problem. It's under here hidden because they don't know how to solve the problem. So they use drugs to cover it up and make it more manageable. And the other thing they don't tell you is that when a person is low in B1, vitamin B1, negativity can come upon you a lot more. So if you're taking B1 with calcium, because the body will use calcium to process the B1, your body could take it out of your teeth. You don't want that. So you take B1 and calcium for sure. You are pushing back on any negativity coming from this part of the mind, the reactive mind, which you'll read about in this book. Psychiatrists don't tell you that psych medications lowers your B1 and you're feeling more depressed, and they go, oh, we need to give you a higher dosage. Yeah. And then you get lower in B1, you feel worse, and they give you more medication, you get lower in B1, and they give you more medication, you're chasing the tail, the dog going around, not getting anywhere. So if you're on psychiatric medication, get calcium, magnesium, B1 in your system right away. If you're not on psych medication, remember, anytime you drink alcohol to excess or have a stressful lifestyle, your B1 is going to be gobbled up. So you want to make sure you're taking B1 and calcium every day. We all live in stressful lifestyles, and you will notice right away how much better you feel when you have B1 in your system. Some vitamins have 50 milligrams. You can take more than that. You can consult your non-psychiatric nutritionist. Okay, that's just a passing note. So let me read a few passages from Dianetics. Then I want you to go to the library and check it out for yourself, see if it makes sense to you. From the beginning flap of the book, Dianetics has stood the test of time. For over 5 decades, it has given people all over the world the only effective way to get rid of the true source of problems, stress, unhappiness, and self-doubt, the reactive mind. Dianetics is not some positive thinking fad or feel better quick scheme. It's not full of theories or opinions. It's full of answers, real answers that have everything to do with your life. Read this book and discover the source of your nightmares, unreasonable fears, upsets, and any insecurity. Find out exactly how your reactive mind is destroying your belief in yourself and how to get rid of it. Now, I want to let you know, get rid of it does not mean we take a scalpel and cut out your memories or anything like that. The memories get refiled where your mind can analyze them and realize You don't have to have grandma there to be successful. Okay? The memories are taken away from where they're stored in the reactive mind, where they can have force on you with no analyzing, and they're placed in your memory. That's what get rid of it means. Any two intelligent people, after a careful study of this volume, can bring each other to heights never before suspected. Millions have improved their lives dramatically and permanently with Dianetics technology. Find out what it can do for you. Go to the library, get this book, or buy it on Amazon. Just a couple of quick passages I want to share with you. This is from chapter 3. The goal of man. The goal of man, the lowest common denominator of all his activities. The dynamic principle of existence has long been sought, of course. Should such an answer be discovered, it is inevitable that from its many answers would flow. You'd get a lot of answers from finding out the lowest common denominator of all existence. It would lead toward a solution to man's major problems, and most of all, it should be workable, of course. Well, guess what? In this book, you will read, and I'm going to share with you, but you can read more when you get the book about this. Life began at some point of origin, and we're commanded to continue to some nearby infinite destination. They were told nothing but what to do. They obey a single order, and that order is survive. The dynamic principle of existence is survival. Look at the weed that grows on the freeway. Look at Johnny following number 5 because he was told that she would bring him ultimate survival. The dynamic principle of existence is survival. And when you are unconscious and your analytical mind is not functioning properly, and you're told, man, if I were him, man, I would just stay in the house where it's safe. You get a person who's afraid to go out of the house. The Analytical Mind and the Standard Memory Banks, Chapter 1. This chapter begins the search for human error, and it tells where it is not. Okay? The Analytical Mind. This is the one we're using right now, unless you are... I don't mean to laugh, but if you're drunk or on drugs right now, you're not using your analytical mind. Most of us are right at this moment. The analytical mind is incapable of error. And it is so certain that it is incapable of error that it works out everything on the basis that it cannot make an error. If a person says, I cannot add, he either means that he has never been taught to add or that he has an aberration about adding. It does not mean that there is anything wrong with his analytical mind or the analytical mind. The reactive mind, woo, evil. If there was a devil, he designed the reactive mind. The reactive mind, unfortunately, is possessed by everyone. No human being examined anywhere was discovered to be without one or without aberrative content in his engram bank, the reservoir of data which serves the reactive mind. All these things that are said around you when you're drunk, drugged, or unconscious. What does the mind do? It shuts off hearing recall. It places vocal circuits in the mind. It makes people tone deaf. It makes people stutter. It does anything and everything that can be found in any list of mental ills, psychosomatic neurosis, compulsions, and repressions. What can it do? It can give a man arthritis, bursitis, asthma, allergies, sinusitis, coronary trouble, high blood pressure, and so on down the whole catalog of psychosomatic ills. Adding a few more which were never specifically classified as psychosomatic, such as the common cold. And it is the only thing in the human being which can produce these effects. It is the thing which uniformly brings them about. If there ever was a devil, he invented the reactive mind. Discharge the content of this mind's bank, and the arthritis vanishes, myopia gets better, heart illnesses decrease, asthma disappears, stomachs function properly, and the whole catalog of ills, which are psychosomatic, goes away and stays away. Discharge the reactive engram bank, and the schizophrenic faces reality at last. The manic depressive sets forth to accomplish things. The neurotic stops clinging to books, which tell him how much he needs his neurosis, and he begins to live. The woman, turn the page here, stops snapping at her children. The reactive mind is the entire source of aberration. It can be proved and has been repeatedly proven that there is no other, for when the engram bank is discharged, all undesirable symptoms vanish and man begins to operate on his optimum pattern. Now, we're just about out of time. I have a few other things that I will go over. I think I am going to carry this over to part 2. So tune in next Thursday, because there's just more that's important to go over on this subject. But I want to tell you one thing before I end this show. I think I just have enough time. I did a Dianetic session on an individual who wanted, you can go in and get a free Dianetic session. And it was supposed to be 5 or 10 minutes just to show him how it worked. It ended up being 3 hours, and he was in the womb, and the father was saying, he didn't know the words when he was in the womb. Now, when I take him back to that moment, which you can go back to any moment in your life with Dianetics counseling, and you're completely wide awake. He knew what the words were, and the father said, get rid of that, I can't say it, thing. And the mother's crying. He's crying for 3 hours. We got all that emotion out. What a huge benefit to him. And who knows what else was said. This is a long time ago. I don't remember everything that was said, but anything that was said while he's under that much stress would cause aberrations, psychosomatic ills, and it can be alleviated. When you read this book right here, Dianetics, you will know more than a 4-year degree psychiatrist, because they don't know anything about the mind and how it really works. Go to the library, go to Amazon, get this book, read it, and find out for yourself if it makes sense to you. I will see you next Thursday at 5 o'clock. For part 2, we'll go over some more about what's in this book. Get it for yourself. Decide for yourself. I hope that you and your family and anyone who's watching the show becomes ultimately happy, because you are working analytically, not reactively. Wishing you well. Thank you for watching.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.